Okay, going over this question quickly. Um, like over here, once we had written the resistance, the thermal resistance of each rod, the first thing is we realize that these resistances are in proportion to one another. So 200 is to 50 is 100 is to 25. And both have the same ratio, 4 is to 1. So that becomes a Wheatstone bridge arrangement. In that Wheatstone bridge arrangement, what you do is you ignore the middle resistor or the middle rod. All right, so that's what we decide to ignore. So we're going to ignore this one. All right, उसके आगे अब रेशियो प्रोपोर्शन का खेल है. इसके अक्रॉस 100 का डिफरेंस है, इसके अक्रॉस 100 का डिफरेंस है. Okay, ignore that rod. Imagine there's a gap over there. There's no rod over there. So now 100 को तुम कैसे बांटोगे, है ना? In what ratio would you divide them? So we know कि these two resistances are in series. Consider any one of them. They are in series. So if they are in series, so current is the same, and if current is the same, V is proportional to R. So if R का ratio is 2 is to 1, potential का difference also should be 2 is to 1. अब तुम 100 को 2 is to 1 के रेशियो में बांट दो ना, तो 100 को 2 is to 1 के रेशियो में बांटोगे तो you get 200 by 3 and 100 by 3, 66.67 and 33.33. ठीक है? And 200 by 3 and 100 by 3 should be the differences, potential differences. तो 100 से 200 by 3 कम करो या 0 से 100 by 3 बढ़ाओ. Either way, at what will be the temperature of that junction? 100 by 3. 100 by 3 is 200 by 3 away from 100 and 100 by 3 away from 0. So the temperature of that junction will be 100 by 3. In fact, that's going to be the temperature of this entire rod. दोनों ends का वही temperature आएगा, वो पूरा rod का वही temperature आएगा. Heat is not going to flow through the rod because all points of the rod are at the same temperature. Okay? That's why we are saying that rod is redundant. No heat is flowing through it. Okay? Okay. I hope that, yeah. Part 4 भी एक बार जल्दी से. V is part 4 में क्या था? V is, हाँ, part 4 कुछ नहीं था. Part 4 में I think I had asked you current through one of these resistances. So now that you know the temperatures of the ends, you know the temperature difference. In other words, you in a way know the potential difference. Potential difference is 100 minus 100 by 3. You know the resistance is 200. So that means the current, that'll give you the current from Ohm's law. So V is 200 by 3, R is 200, and current वहां से निकल के आएगा. Okay, so things become a little simple when you when you convert it into that current electricity form. All right. A majority of the questions on this topic are simple. There is a lot for you to practice from the HCV. If you have a look at HCV, it's a big chapter. So yes, Gaurav, yes. Yeah. So the HCV is a big chapter. I mean, the questions, there are a lot of questions there. So वो कर लोगे, आराम से करो, take your time. You will have sufficient practice doing those questions. Okay? We can discuss them at some point of time. I would just say take your time. It may take some time to finish completely. So we will, of course, eventually discuss that. But refer to the video solutions as well. So since there are a lot of questions, solving a lot of doubts may take a lot of time. So wherever possible, try to refer to those video solutions. I think the guy explains well. Okay? So just try that out. All right. And of course, उसके बाद कुछ बच गया तो we'll definitely discuss. So I'll quickly discuss these class homework questions that I had given. ठीक है, ये थोड़ा अलग से थोड़ा हटके था. Some questions like this are there in your HCV as well. Okay, I don't know the answer by heart, so एक बार as I solve it, you can cross check your answer. But if you have managed to solve it, if you have figured out what is to be done here, that's actually really, really good. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so In 52, we have this situation where heat is flowing from inside to outside. All right. Okay. So what are we going to do over here is, ek minute, sorry guys, I don't know the answer by heart. Just see the solution and then cross check. Okay. But what we are indeed going to do is, we are going to, as heat is flowing outwards, let us construct a small hypothetical cylinder, okay, of radius r and thickness dr. Okay. All right. Is my voice coming smoothly for everyone? Yes. Okay. Fine. All right. So let's construct a hypothetical cylinder of radius r and thickness dr. This is our element. Okay. So this is our cylindrical element. We are going to analyze how heat is going to flow through this element. Now, why am I taking a single element? The reason I'm taking a single element is because as heat flows outwards, surface area is not the same. All right, जो starting में surface area था inner cylinder का और जो बाहर surface area outer cylinder का, they are drastically different. So surface area is changing as we are going outwards, and therefore what we are doing is we're going to take such a small cylindrical element कि at least उस element के across तुम्हारा surface area ज़्यादा drastically change नहीं होगा. So we are taking a small element so that our surface area is more or less constant. Okay. Now what is our equation going to be? dq by dt is ka dt by dx. Ka dt by dx. All right. Minus ka dt by dx. Now, what is going to play the role over here? What is going to play the role of dx over here? All right. So naturally, as we're going out, what is playing the role of dx is our increment in r. So we are moving along the radius. So we can say in this case, dq by dt is minus ka dt by dr. All right. And similarly, we can write the area for this element as we can write the area for this element as pi r square times the length. You're given the length of the cylinder. So we can write the area as pi r square times the length of the cylinder. All right, that's the curved surface area. That's the area perpendicular to heat flow. So very similar to this question. Yeah? In this question, as you were moving in this direction, yeah, sorry, 2 pi r into h. I'll just change that. Yes, thank you for that. In this question, as you are moving in this direction, the area perpendicular to your heat flow, which is what you substitute in the formula, was gradually increasing. In the same way, in the case of a cylinder, as we move outwards, as we move from the inner surface to the outer surface, the area perpendicular to your heat flow is going to gradually increase. And yes, your area at any instant can be written as 2 pi r times L. This is gradually increasing. Now, that's it. We just have to integrate both sides. And I said, don't get scared by dq by dt. dq by dt is just the constant. Okay, that's just the constant. That's not the thing you need to integrate. All right, so don't worry about that. dq by dt is constant. So separate r and t. So if you're separating r and t, it's going to look like this. You can take dq by dt outside the integration. You can take, you can bring r to this side. So as you bring r to this side, it's going to be dr upon r. Okay. यहाँ पे इस साइड सब कुछ कांस्टेंट रख लो. minus k 2 pi L, ये सब बार लेके जा सकते हो इंटीग्रेशन का, because these are not things which are changing, but of course dt is temperature is changing as you integrate dt. Now just mind the limits, ठीक है? So you know कि you are going from, if you look at the original question, है ना? So I said R1 के लिए temperature TH है, and as you're going out R2 के लिए temperature TC है. So just placing the corresponding limits. R1 के लिए temperature TH, R2 के लिए temperature TC. All right. So as you go from inside to outside, temperature is actually decreasing. Heat flow के direction में temperature is decreasing. One of you is asking 2 pi RL कहाँ से आया? तो cross section area for this element is what? What is the curved surface area for a cylinder? Yeah, circle का circumference into length, 2 pi r into length. वहां से आ रहा है ना? This area, this curved surface of the cylinder is the area perpendicular to your heat flow. So that comes out to be 2 pi r by L. Got it? Makes sense? All right. बस अब दोनों साइड इंटीग्रेट कर लो. Remember, don't get scared of dq by dt. If that looks scary, write that as I, write that as current. This is ln R2 by R1, and then that is minus k2 pi by L Tc minus Th, and you can I'll just save some time. Minus Tc minus Th will become Th minus Tc. So in the end, the purpose of that minus sign is just to make Tc minus Th, Th minus Tc, so that both sides are naturally positive. That's it. This is our answer. What did we want? I think I wanted heat flow. So dq by dt is, yeah. How many of you got this answer? K 2 pi L delta T. Very nice if you got this. Ln. I mean, those who have gotten this, you have actually understood integration as such, which is going to take you a long way. It's not, you've not understood something specific only to this chapter. You've understood integration as such. So very nice. All of you managed to get it. Good. Okay. Very nice. Good stuff. Let me unmute this one. हाँ Parth.
Sir, I had a question. Why do we convert area? Why can't we just let it be as area? Because it ends up being the same thing.
Ends up being the same thing. Where do you see R square in this? ये ln नहीं आता था ना?
अच्छा हाँ, okay.
Area.
Yeah, I got it.
As you move outwards, your area is actually changing. The area this heat flow encounters, heat current encounters, was smaller initially, and then gradually it becomes bigger and bigger as you move out. तो इस फॉर्मूला में एक यूनिक एरिया नहीं था सब्स्टिट्यूट करने के लिए, इसलिए एक छोटा एलिमेंट लिया. छोटा एलिमेंट के लिए एरिया लगभग कांस्टेंट था, तो वो सब्स्टिट्यूट किया, एंड उससे हमने आगे बात बढ़ाया. If anyone is still copying this or anything, just let me know. Waiting. Yeah, I'll wait. Whoever said wait, just say done when you're done. Guys, don't worry about your TWT. Yeah, whatever is finished only will come in your TWT. Don't worry about that. Whatever test you give will only be on the basis of whatever's finished. Done. Okay. All right. This was a sphere. Similar idea. The problem as we go outwards in the case of the sphere is, again, surface area is not constant. So the area perpendicular to your heat flow is not constant. As you go out, that area is constantly changing. So what we can do is we can then, again, try integrating that area. All right. So since the area is not constant, and as we try applying this equation, dq by dt is minus ka dt by, of course, we'll apply dr in this case. Our problem over here is that area is changing. So what we'd want to do is we'll take such an element जिसके लिए area ज़्यादा change नहीं हो रहा है. All right, so I'm going to naturally consider a sphere, a thin spherical shell of radius small r and thickness dr. Okay? And clearly r is going to vary from whatever r1 to r2. Okay? And the advantage of taking this sphere, first of all, dq by dt through the sphere is the same dq by dt we're trying to find. Okay? जो भी dq by dt through this entire sphere है, that is the same current which is going to pass through this element. So when I write this equation for that element, this term is actually the same. This term is the dq by dt we're trying to find. So we're not introducing anything new over here. Okay. Only thing is we can safely write dq by dt for that element because area of that element is fixed. And then this is what it will look like. dq by dt is minus k area of a sphere. So 4 pi r square dt by dr. Exactly the same story. Don't get scared of this. Just bring dr to one side. Let dq by dt be outside the integration. It's a constant. Okay? It's the same for all elements because all elements are in series. Yeah? So current is the same through all these elements. So dr by r square over here and minus k 4 pi dt over there. Remember, the minus sign is just to make this term positive. So as I'm going from inside to outside, th to tc, and my radius is, I think, going from r1 to r2. Okay. So when I integrate this, so this is going to become minus 1 by r2 minus minus plus 1 by r1. ऐसा हो जाएगा. And यहाँ पे this is going to be minus k 4 pi tc minus th. So dq by dt becomes r1 r2 r1 minus r2 k 4 pi th minus tc. Let me just check the symbols over there. Yeah, let me just cross check. इसमें कुछ गड़बड़ होना चाहिए. R2 minus R1 होना चाहिए. Logically R2 minus R1 होना चाहिए. What have I done? Yeah, और वही है. वही है. Fair enough. ये भी आया था तुम लोग का? Nice, yeah, good stuff. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. Copy this and let me know when those copying are done. हाँ, अगला वाला थोड़ा सा अलग है. But yeah, still, if you got these two, then that's really good. You've grasped integration well. Is that 4? Yes, this is 4. Catch was to take it. The main idea was to take it for a small surface so that, see, when you get a question like this, you look at your original equation, all right, and just think normally between these two terms, which of these two terms is varying? One of them is varying, which is why we find the need to integrate. So K is constant for us over here. There was area which was changing. So then the only way we can use this equation is if area is constant. So what can we do to make area constant? So the key is to take a small surface, a small spherical shell. And when we take such a small spherical shell, the area across that shell will not change considerably. One of you saying you have a doubt, shouldn't it be 4 pi r plus dr ka square? So please understand 4 pi r plus dr ka square is the area of the outer surface. 4 pi r square is the area of the inner surface, and dr is infinitesimally small. So how different are they going to be? Yeah, they are going to hardly be different. When you write this is r plus dr ka square, we are going to ignore, basically that's what we're doing. We're ignoring dr in front of r. Even when you expand it, just ignore all of that. R plus d, the whole idea is ki 4 pi r square and 4 pi r plus dr square, the integration will be the same. Because dr is infinitesimally small, 4 pi r square is almost as good as 4 pi r plus dr the whole square. All right. Anyone still writing this? No one's writing this, apparently. find temperature difference as a function of time. ये थोड़ा मतलब ये भी तुम देखोगे इन दी एंड इजी है, जैसे एक थोड़ा सा छोटा सा ट्रिक है इसमें. थोड़ा सा मैथमेटिकल ट्रिक है इसमें. सो लेट्स से कि अच्छा वी नो दिस वाज m1 s1 2, alright, and let's say these temperatures are of course this is T1 and T2 initially. Sometime later they're going to of course have different temperatures. So what symbols do I use for that? Let's say sometime later. Yes, Yash, yes. Let's say the temperatures are T1 dash and T2 dash. Okay? And this is at time T. So at time T, this is the scene. T1 dash and T2 dash. All right. Now, what is happening is at this instant, heat is flowing from the hotter body to the colder body. See? Let's just assume one is hotter. So heat is flowing from the hotter body to the colder body according to the equation K area. I'm removing the minus sign. Instead of writing minus T2 dash minus T1 dash, I'm directly writing T1 dash minus T2 dash. I've just made the assumption that T1 dash is hotter. And that's maybe told in the question. One of them is hotter than the other. Let's say T1 is hotter than T1 is hotter than T2. So dq by dt is Ka T1 dash minus T2 dash. Again, now when you stare at this equation, what is changing? What is not constant in this equation? You know? So the problem is that K is constant, A is constant, but this is not constant. Temperature difference is not going to be constant because these bodies are going to cool. These bodies are going to change with time. And that's why I could not write this kind of an equation from start to finish, but I had to zoom in and have a look at this one particular instant of time and write this equation for that instant of time because temperature difference is changing over time. तो एक instant of time के लिए मैंने ये equation लिख लिया. अब इसके आगे क्या कर सकते हैं? How does dq by dt relate with this temperature difference? So try to put down what you know. I think we know कि dq by dt is going to be the rate at which T2 dash is getting heated up. By dx. I'm so sorry. Okay? Of course, by the length of the rod. See, there was no problem. So dx temperature gradient K A sub constant hai. I mean, nothing is temperature gradient uniform hai. K A constant hai. dt by dx can be written as delta T by L. There's perfect uniformity along the rod. The only issue is वो temperature difference is not constant with time. तो इसलिए instead of time में हमने ये equation लिखा. Okay. None of this will change with time. As you can clearly see, K, A, and L, they're all constant. Now, dq by dt is two things. Firstly, dq by dt is the rate at which this guy is getting heated up right now. So at what rate is that guy getting heated up? What is dq? dq is going to be, if you give dq amount of heat from here to there, if you send dq amount of heat from T1 dash to T2 dash, then what's going to happen is that amount of heat is going to cause T2 dash's temperature to increase, right? So कितने से increase होगा? Let's say d T2 dash से बढ़ गया. So dq is going to be m2s2 d T2 dash. Fair enough. dq by dt is m2s2 d T2 dash. Okay. One of you is asking me why have I removed the minus sign over here. So if I had to put the minus sign, I would have had to write T2 dash minus T1 dash. So with the minus sign, it's T2 dash minus T1 dash. I've removed the minus sign and I've written T1 dash minus T2 dash. Okay, TH minus TC. Instead of TC minus TH with a minus sign, I've written TH minus TC. यहाँ पे heat being deposited to this guy is going to be the rate at which its temperature increases to M2 S2 dT2 dash by dt, and heat being taken away from this guy is going to be the rate at which uska temperature decreases. So what will we write for this guy? M1 S1 d T1 rather minus dT1 dash by dt, because heat is being extracted by this guy, extracted from this guy. So you're extracting heat from M1. All right. So when you take out dq amount of heat from M1, remember heat given is ms delta T, and heat lost or heat removed is ms T initial minus T final. Yeah, minus ms delta T. तो वही लिखा है, heat removed is minus ms delta T for body 1, and for body 2 heat supplied is positive ms delta T. Right? We study that in calorimetry. यहाँ से actually क्या हो जाएगा? Since dq by dt is both these things, अब यहाँ पे थोड़ा एक mathematical trick रहेगा. This was the tricky part. All right, but you can remember this in case a question like this comes. Dq by dt could be written in terms of T2 dash, could be written in terms of T1 dash, in fact minus T1 dash to be specific. But since this term is T1 minus T2, why don't we write dq by dt in terms of both of them? Right, that would be a nice thing to do. So how do you write dq by dt in terms of both of them? If dq by dt is A, dq by dt is B, dq by dt is also A plus B divided by 2, right? So can't I write the same equation as just give me a minute. Sorry, एक second. I hope I've not given an incorrect question. एक minute. एक second, guys. Let me just come back. Yeah, sorry. I think this is one thing I missed mentioning. यहाँ पे actually yeah, sorry guys, I missed mentioning this. Maybe you could have done it had I mentioned this. ये actually ये question में this question, the equation it yields, this equation is only valuable, is only solvable if दोनों के heat capacities are the same. In other words, if M1 S1 and M2 S2 are the same, only then this is solvable. All right, so that's actually something I missed giving. Otherwise, the equation you get is not an equation you can solve. So sorry for that, but let me just then correct this. जो ये जो दिया जाएगा सवाल में, you will be given ms as the same. You'll be given the same material. Normally they do this for water or they may do this for any other metal, but metal दोनों तरफ same होगा या ms का product same होगा. Only then the differential equation that you get can as such be solved. Yeah, and I think that's something I, while giving you this homework, I'm just writing. So this is our question. ms, I think the way I've solved on the other page says T1 is great. That's this part is not a big difference. I'm just correcting that. But हाँ, ये M और S दोनों तरफ सेम है, अलग अलग नहीं होगा. ठीक है, my bad. No wonder, I think no wonder you guys were not able to solve it. Masses same रहेगा, S same रहेगा. More importantly, इनका product same रहेगा. ठीक है, because the equation that you get is only solvable when their product is the same. The equation you get is only solvable when their product is the same. Yeah, that's what I missed giving you. तो इसमें इनको जोड़ दो. Okay, so when you add the two now, given ms is same for both, when you add the two, you get dq by dt as ms by 2 dt dash by 2 dt dash by dt minus dt dt2 dash by dt minus dt1 dash by dt. All right, so dq by dt is actually becoming this ms by 2 d t2 dash by dt minus dt1 dash by dt, and with that this nicely becomes this equation. Right, so I'll just explain again. I had to change the question. The question was a little incorrect. What the question is कि ms दोनों के लिए same है. So again, going over the heat transfer equation, this is a heat transfer equation. dq by dt is K8 T1 dash minus T2 dash by L. dq by dt is a rate at which this guy is getting heated up. So dq by dt becomes ms dt2 dash by dt. All right. And then dq by dt is also the rate at which this guy is cooling down. So if you're extracting heat by something, then the heat extracted is minus ms dt. So since you're extracting heat from T1, dq dash is minus ms d T1 dash by dt. Okay. Now, since ms is the same, all right, you can take ms common, you can take 2 common. You can then write dt2 dash by dt minus dt1 dash by dt as subtraction rule. Right, subtraction rule. Some of you are asking me how have I done that. It's subtraction rule hai. dt2 dash by dt minus dt1 dash by dt is d t2 dash minus t1 dash by dt. Okay, d t2 dash minus t1 dash by dt. कोई वापस पूछ रहा है कि यहाँ पे minus dt1 dash होना चाहिए. बाबा subtraction rule लगाओगे तो d t2 dash minus t1 dash becomes d t2 dash minus d t1 dash. That's your subtraction rule calculus का. ठीक है, तो ये जब तुम वो ओरिजिनल इक्वेशन में डाल दोगे, अब सडनली ये सॉल्व हो जाएगा. तो ठीक है, so I'll of course do that on the next page, but now it will get solved. Okay, इसमें my bad, but trust me, in this they'll only ask you this question when heat capacity on both sides is the same. This is something I just remembered while solving. Okay? They'll typically give you like water on both sides or something like that. So let me know when you're done with this page. Maybe I'll try squeezing it in over here itself. Okay, so KA T1 dash minus T2 dash by L is therefore minus MS by 2 D. Okay, I'm writing it in the same form. T1 dash minus T2 dash. माइनस क्यों आ गया? बिकॉज यहाँ पे मैं ये इसको उल्टा कर रहा हूँ. तो डी T1 dash minus T2 dash लिख रहा हूँ, इसलिए माइनस साइन आ गया. By dt. Separate the variables and integrate. Separate the variables and integrate both sides. At t equal to 0, temperature difference was T1 minus T2. And at t equal to T, temperature difference is, let's just say delta T. So we wanted delta T as a function of time. है ना? So T1 and T2 were the initial values. इससे आंसर आ जाएगा कि KAT by L is minus MS by 2 ln. You can even write this as delta T final upon delta T initial. And you can take minus MS2 to the other side. You can make it e raised to, and the final answer would look something like this. So delta T final is delta T initial, which is, by the way, T1 minus T2, e raised to minus, इसको उधर लेके जाओगे तो minus 2 KAT by LMS. If anyone wants me to explain anything again, I'll explain. Just let me know that you've understood. T1 minus T2 while integrating. तो यहाँ पे T1 minus T2 while integrating हो गया ना, this becomes actually ये पूरा ऐसा bracket लिखना नहीं चाहिए. T1 minus T2 ये this of the form dx by x, so that becomes ln x. जिसमें final temperature difference is the upper limit, initial temperature difference is the lower limit. Delta Ti is T1 minus T2. Delta Ti is T1 minus T2. after हाँ, this is an equal to sign. ठीक है, how did I write? हाँ, तो एक बार वापस जल्दी बता देता हूँ. dq by dt को t2 डैश के टर्म्स में लिखा और t1 डैश के टर्म्स में लिखा एंड फिर इनको ऐड किया. तो ऐड करने पे 2 dq by dt becomes this. So dq by dt becomes ms dt2 dash by dt minus ms dt1 dash by dt divided by 2. So this becomes ms by 2 dt2 dash minus t1 dash by dt. तो dq by dt को इसके टर्म्स में हमने लिखा. ठीक है, तो एक तो ये dq by dt t1 dash minus t2 dash के टर्म्स में भी था और dq by dt उसके डेरिवेटिव के टर्म्स में भी था. तो I equated these two and I wrote this equation. ठीक है, and then there are two main variables here. One is time and one is temperature difference. T1 dash minus T2 dash is temperature difference. That's the other variable. So time को एक तरफ, temperature difference को दूसरी तरफ. One variable and that's a second variable. Okay, integrate किया दोनों तरफ, तो I got KT by L and minus MS ln final temperature difference upon initial temperature. So a question slightly on the tougher side, and just something I'm exposing you guys to. Okay? Okay. So with that, we're almost done with heat transfer. Of course, we'll try to discuss the homework sometime, but let me give you some time to attempt the homework, and maybe you can also try to look at the video solutions so that in the end there are fewer questions to discuss. Most probably the video solutions may clarify most of your doubts. Okay. All right. I hope everyone was done with that. Just one or two last points. So एक बहुत ही simple experiment है called as yeah, we'll start KTG after this. One very simple experiment called as Searle's experiment to measure thermal conductivity. Okay. You need not know much about this. छोटा सा ही point है इसका. So you don't need to know much about the setup and all. All right. But just have a rough idea of how this experiment is used to calculate thermal conductivity. Yes, this is still under heat transfer. So just one or two last points. You'll typically be given, you'll measure the temperature at 2 points. So this is a rod. Okay? So we're trying to measure the thermal conductivity of this rod. We'll be told temperature at T1, we'll be told temperature at T2, and we'll be told the difference between these two points. I mean, the distance between these 2 points. What we'll also be given is, we'll be given a kind of a pipe. So there'll be a pipe which enters, or which is in a way coiled around I'm bad at drawing, but I think you get the idea. Oh man. maybe I'll just use it. Yeah. So there's a pipe which is coiled around this rod. Don't worry, you've not missed much. क्या है? There's a pipe coiled around this rod. ठीक है? This is a rod जिसका thermal conductivity हमें निकालना है. This is a rod जिसका thermal conductivity हमें measure करना है. That is what we are trying to do in this experiment. So first and foremost is you'll accurately measure the temperatures of 2 points on the rod. Okay, so heat is going from this hotter end to this colder end. Okay. This is the hotter end. This is the colder end. So heat is going from the hot end to the colder end. T1, T2 तो measure करोगे. और यहाँ पे ये pipe में क्या हो रहा है? ये pipe में you have water which is passed. All right, so water is entering this pipe. Now when water enters, all right, so this is like the inlet and that the other one is the outlet. Okay, inlet and outlet. तो water वहां से निकल रहा है और यहाँ से enter कर रहा है. Okay, and what we're going to do with the water is we are going to measure the temperature at which water enters. So you'll find that the temperature at which water enters is T3. यहाँ पे the temperature is T3. Water is entering at a temperature T3. Some of you are asking, is water behaving as a coolant? In a way, it is definitely taking some heat from the rod, or it's exchanging some heat from the rod. So water is getting heated up in the process. Okay, water is getting heated up in the process. So its temperature is changing by the time it leaves. All right. Now, what all are you given? So you will be given T1, T2, L. Okay. You will be given temperature of water at the inlet. All right. So T3 is the temperature of water at the inlet. Okay. Temperature of incoming water. You'll also be given T4, which is the temperature of the outgoing water. Okay. You'll also be given rate of water flow. So let's say you'll be given specific heat capacity of water. Okay, you know what S is. And you'll also be given rate of water flow. So this is the rate amount of mass of water flowing per unit time, or the amount of mass of water entering that inlet per unit time. So itna kg, 5 kg of pani enter kiya each second. So that's rate of water flow. So you'll be given all of this. All right. So even if you don't know the experiment, even if you're not supposed to know the experiment, they can still expect you to solve this question based on the idea of calorimetry. So now you need to just think, एक ही equation से answer आ जाएगा, K का value आ जाएगा. Understand that T1 is greater than T2. Understand कि T4 is also greater than T3. Water is getting heated up in the process. So water is taking up heat. Okay, water is taking up heat. M amount of water is entering in T time. Okay, so M by T is rate of water flow. तो यहाँ से how can we find K? एक लाइन का आंसर है. यहाँ से अब K कैसे निकालेंगे? Your hint is this should relate to rate of heat flow. S is specific heat capacity. You're also given A. you're also given area. So you're also given the area of the rod. Okay, of course, to find, we need to find K. Go on. In T time, how much heat is transferred? Yes. Simple. Sarthak, that's right. Ayush, that's right. But now take that further. Ayush, you need to link dq by dt to T3 and T4. Sarthak actually perfectly सही नहीं है. dq by dt relates to T3 T4. पानी का incoming temperature is T3, outgoing temperature is T4. So in T time, how much heat is what being transferred? जितना भी heat is being transferred, उतना heat पानी ले रहा है ना? हाँ, पानी कितना heat ले रहा है, कितना mass आ रहा है? अच्छा, m amount of water आ रहा है in T time. तो m amount of water आ रहा है, m amount of water कितने से हीट कितना हीट ले रहा है? तो ms फाइनल टेम्परेचर ऑफ वाटर माइनस इनिशियल टेम्परेचर ऑफ वाटर. सिंपल स्टफ. ठीक है. यहां से वी ऑल्सो गेट Q by T. So in T time, heat flowing per unit time is mass of water coming in per unit time into S into T4 minus T3. But heat flowing per unit time is also Ka temperature gradient. Ab temperature gradient you can write for any section. dt by dx we are assuming is the same throughout the rod. कोई भी section के लिए लिख सकते हो. चाहिए तो ये section के लिए लिख लो. Because those are the values you know. You know कि temperature changes by how much? Changes by T1 minus T2. Over what distance? Over L distance. Okay, over L distance. I'll just check your answers, but equate these two, and when you equate these two, you'll get your answer. तो ये दो को equate करके k का वैल्यू आ जाएगा. Alright? तो क्या आ रहा है? जस्ट L को ऊपर ले लो ms के साथ, A को नीचे ले लो, ऊपर of course m by t को एक साथ लिख लो. Normally that may be given to you as rate of flow of water. So m by t, L, S, area, T4 minus T3 ऊपर and T1 minus T2 नीचे. Okay, you get this result. So this is just giving you an idea of Searle's experiment. If at all, you know, normally if they were to ask a question on this, they may explain it, but you never know. So just giving you an idea of what happens in Searle's experiment, what these different temperatures refer to. They may give you all the values, but they may expect you to know what they are talking about. Okay, specific heat है ना यहाँ पे. Okay, तो डायग्राम एक बार वापस क्या है? हम यहाँ से यहाँ हीट फ्लो हो रहा है, हम 2 पॉइंट का टेम्परेचर देख रहे हैं, उसके बीच में कितना डिस्टेंस है वो देख रहे हैं. इससे क्या मिल गया, इससे क्या निपट गया, डेल्टा टी बाई डेल्टा एक्स निपट गया. वी नो टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस इज T1 माइनस T2, वी नो डिस्टेंस इज L. अब हीट कितना फ्लो हो रहा है, एरिया पता है, एरिया भी मेजर कर लिया. हीट कितना फ्लो हो रहा है वो कैसे मेजर कर रहे हैं, तो हम थोड़ा पानी अंदर भेज रहे हैं यहाँ से, और पानी निकलते निकलते हीट अप हो रहा है. तो हमें क्या क्या पता है, वी नो हाउ मच मास ऑफ वाटर इज गोइंग इन पर यूनिट टाइम. लेट्स से वी नो कि वाटर इज फ्लोइंग इन एट द रेट ऑफ 2 kg पर सेकेंड. वी नो पानी का टेम्परेचर कितने से बढ़ रहा है, वी नो area of the rod, we know specific heat capacity of water, है ना, we know temperature gradient as T1 minus T2 by L. तो बस वो दो को एक्चुअली इक्वेट करके K का वैल्यू निकल गया. Did you get it now? It's actually a very simple experiment. Got it? Okay. Just quickly copy this. Let me know when you're done. So mainly I just want you to know the setup, because once you understand the experimental setup, writing these last two equations which you wrote in the end is easy, right? But if the question is describing the setup, you know, they may say in the Searles experiment, water is flowing at this rate. They'll give you the values. Water is flowing at this rate, temperature at the inlet is this much, temperature at the outlet is that much. But if you have no idea what this experiment looks like, what the setup looks like, then you won't be able to solve the question, even if you're super clear with your heat transfer concepts, because you won't understand what they're talking about. So at least make sure you have this diagram in mind, and if they refer to certain terms, make sure you understand what they're talking about. Okay? Water का inlet temperature मतलब T3, water का outlet temperature T4. Water is flowing at the rate of 2 kg per second. That is m by t. पूरा का पूरा m by t को 2 kg per second से replace कर लो. Understood? They'll say there are 2 points having temperatures 90 and 100 separated by 2 centimeter. मतलब L is 2 centimeter. ठीक है? हाँ. Yes, you will substitute the S of water. 4.2 joules. Oh, depends on the unit. You know, if you're if you want K in terms of joules, in terms of watt, so you'll have to substitute S as 4.2 joules per kg Kelvin. Got it? Done with this? One last topic. ये भी एक question है in a way. In fact, this is as such a tough question. The last thing I want to discuss. It's a tough question, but I'll just show you how to go about it as though it's a piece of theory. So if you ever come across a question like this, you'll be able to solve. All right. So let's just see this last question. This is growth of ice. Again, this is advanced level. This is, I mean, this is not super easy to do on your own, but hopefully seeing it done once by me, maybe you can do it if a question like this should come. So growth of ice on a lake. Okay? Growth of ice on a lake. Maybe if you see me do this once, back at the back of your head, इसका थोड़ा सा idea रह जाएगा, and then you can maybe solve. So इसमें क्या होता है? This is, let's say this is the top of a lake. Okay. This portion is ice. This portion is water. And that's our air. Okay. Now, your air ka temperature is going to be negative. That's when your water starts freezing. So let's say air ka temperature is minus T degrees Celsius. Can I show the previous page once? Okay, dekh lo jaldi. जब हो गया बता दो. Okay. ठीक है. तो एयर का टेम्परेचर माइनस टी डिग्री सेल्सियस एंड ये जो आइस का थिकनेस है that is H, and we are very interested in figuring out how this thickness changes with time. That is our main objective. ये कितने रेट पे आइस का थिकनेस बढ़ते जाता है, that's our main concern. ठीक है. Now let's say density of ice is rho I. ठीक है, I for ice. Let's say thermal conductivity का coefficient is Ki for ice, and let's say cross sectional area. The cross sectional area is A. So the area of ice, when seen from up, that's going to be A. Now dq by dt is two things. Okay? First of all, dq by dt is going to be the rate at which heat flows. So dq by dt is going to be Ki area by L and temperature difference. I'm removing the minus sign. I'm just writing यहाँ का temperature minus वहाँ का temperature. तो वो जब करोगे, अच्छा यहाँ का temperature होगा कितना, है ना, आइस के just नीचे, of course the temperature is going to be 0 degrees Celsius. है ना, this is the portion of water which is just about to freeze and become ice. So very close to ice, the temperature of water is going to be almost 0 degrees Celsius. So Ka by L temperature difference. Okay? So instead of writing minus T minus 0, I'm making that minus sign disappear and directly I'm writing T. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Kia T by L. T is the temperature difference. 0 minus minus T. Hotter minus colder ka temperature. This is the amount of heat being transferred. Now, because this heat is being transferred, what is going to happen is some amount of water over here is going to melt and become ice. All right. So the amount of heat being transferred is going to be the amount of, did I say melt, freeze? The amount of water that's going to freeze and become ice times L. Because when water freezes to become ice, it gives out this much amount of heat. So dm by L dt, where dm is the mass of water freezing in dt time. dm is the mass of water freezing in dt time. Now the mass of water freezing in dt time will be how much? So let's say in dt time, what we have observed is कि ice का thickness increases by a small value dh. तो अगर ice का thickness has increased by a small value dh, है ना, अगर ice का thickness has increased by a small value dh, then the amount of mass, all right, that has become ice, the amount of mass of water that's frozen and become ice will be how much? L sorry, will be how much? Will be density of ice times volume of ice formed. Simple. जितना भी mass of ice बन रहा है पानी के freeze होने के कारण, that will be density of ice into volume of ice formed. अच्छा, that will be how much? फिर volume of ice formed को हम लिख सकते हैं area of ice into height. ठीक है, तो ये हमने अब यहाँ तक ये लिख लिया. Okay, so now dq by dt is this. dq by dt is L rho I a dh by dt. dq by dt is also let's put that back. It's also ki area t by L. So dq by dt is these two things. Okay, one is coming. Okay, one is coming from heat transfer का equation and the other is coming from the source. Heat आ कहाँ से रहा है? Heat is coming because dm mass of water is freezing in dt time. dm mass of water is freezing in dt time and that's creating a layer of ice. When that ice is formed, what volume will it occupy? First of all, how much mass of ice is formed? जितना mass of पानी freeze हुआ उतना mass of ice is formed. फिर mass will be density times volume of ice formed. ठीक है, and volume will then bring dh into the equation because volume is going to be area times additional कितने से thickness बढ़ गया. ठीक है, additional कितने से बढ़ गया. Let me just check what you guys are saying. One of you saying, sir, but water is freezing, so density of water should be used here. Up, you can write dm in terms of density of water and volume of water frozen as well. But what we are more concerned with is, we are concerned with ice ka thickness. All right. So I wanted to write this ultimate equation in terms of ice ka thickness kitne se बढ़ गया. And for that I use the obvious fact कि कितना mass of water freeze हुआ उतना ही तो mass of ice बन गया. जितना पानी का mass freeze हो रहा है उतना ही तो ice बन रहा है. ठीक है, तो instead of writing in terms of water का thickness वगैरह, we are trying to write in terms of ice का thickness. हमें देखना है कि ice का thickness ऊपर से नीचे कितने rate पे बढ़ रहा है. So therefore I wrote, what you're saying is also right. This is also rho w vw, but that is not of much significance to us. Therefore I wrote it as rho I vi, so that I can write vi in terms of dh. Got it? And one of you is asking again, dm is the mass of this layer. dm is the mass of that layer, new layer formed. dh thickness का जो additional layer बन रहा है उसका mass है. Okay, इसके आगे you can see कि solving this is easy. Area cancels out from both sides and then just there could be slight confusion, so let me this would better be written as height. Let's write that here itself. So kat by length was actually h. Length was actually h. Here pe bhi h, right? And now we can see dh and h is one variable and time is the other variable. So separate the variables and then just integrate. So rho I length h, or chahiye to t is also constant. Nobody is saying atmospheric temperature is changing. We're assuming atmospheric temperature is fixed. Okay, so then the only things that need integration is dh, h versus dh, and dt, and integrate both sides. Integrate both sides. You can say when time was 0, the layer just started being formed, and when final time is, or in fact, थोड़ा और general equation लिखते हैं. You can say कि at t equal to 0, you had some initial thickness, and then finally you had some final thickness, and integrate both sides. So you get कि t is rho I L t ki hf square minus hi square by 2. Okay. If you're someone who got scared of that, please, first of all, understand this is not a concept. This is just a specific question type, and that too a difficult question type, which I'm just showing how it could be solved as a closing note. So, I mean, it's not for everyone. If this scares you, thoda sa bhi effort lagane pe bhi you're still getting scared of it, then it's okay. It's not a core concept. You can leave it out. But should this question come your way, if you actually look at this, it's not, of course, doing it for the first time on your own, having no idea what's going on would be difficult. But having seen what I've done with this in the back of your mind, you could attempt deriving this on your own. Just दो ही concept था. एक तो heat transfer का equation था, और दूसरा अपना कैलोरीमेट्री का. उसको थोड़ा simplify किया. Mass is density into volume, volume is area into height कर दिया, उतने में area कट गया. Variables separate किए, h एक तरफ, time एक तरफ, है ना, और फिर simple सा integration था. So this tells the amount of time it would take for your thickness, ice ka thickness, to go from one value to another value. Any doubts in this? Okay. With that, we'll start kinetic theory of gases. Right? I'll wait. Let me know when you're done. Anyone who didn't understand this, please ask. Last two steps. तो इसके आगे ये तो हमने dq by dt को दो तरीके से लिखा और फिर उनको इक्वेट किया. उसके आगे एरिया कैंसिल किया. एरिया कैंसिल करने के बाद you can see कि we have a differential equation in two variables. One is height, which is actually the thickness of the slab, ice layer, and then you have time. So variables separate किया. Time को right hand side पे and h को left hand side पे. In fact मैंने तो सब कुछ left hand side पे ले लिया, time को right hand side पे ले लिया. And then I integrated both sides. I said कि at the starting time, let's say thickness of ice was hi. This could be 0 also depending on the question. And I said final time pe, let's say thickness of ice is hf. So as ice ka thickness goes from hi to hf, time goes from 0 to t. दोनों तरफ integrate करके आंसर आ गया. I hope you could follow the integration. Rho, L, T, these are all constants. T is, we're going to, in this, definitely surrounding air ka temperature will be given to you as a constant. Air ka temperature is minus 32 degrees. So T is 32. That will be a constant. Okay. All right. So that wraps up heat transfer. थोड़ा sums practice कर लो जो homework में है. And with that, we can, maybe in a discussion session, we can discuss the remaining. One of you is asking, are we supposed to remember the final result? I wouldn't suggest remembering the final result because this is just a question type. So this is, we can't go around remembering the results of each individual question type. Right? So this is just the question type. So don't memorize it, but be clear how to work around it if a question like this would come. This question types तो बहुत सारे हैं, है ना? It's like trying to remember the result of जो वो integrate करके sphere का क्या आया और अच्छा हाँ, what is T and what is capital T here? तो capital T is atmospheric temperature. In fact, minus T is atmospheric temperature. So if I say कि air का temperature was minus 32 degrees, all right, then you would replace T with 32 over here. See? And small t is time. Got that? Okay. Yes, so we're starting with a new chapter called as kinetic theory of gases. Can we not start today? Sorry guys, we will start today. थोड़ा तो start करेंगे. And is this the last chapter of heat and thermodynamics? No, this is the second last chapter. So again, if you feel heat and thermodynamics is very long, I'm not the one who's come up with these concepts. I'm not the one who's made up this syllabus. Right? So not in my hands. Both are, I mean, this is a big section. As I said, this was never a chapter to begin with. Okay? Yeah, so this is a big section, but it's going to be a scoring section. All right, quite scoring. In fact, thermodynamics as such is going to be a lot like what you've done in chemistry. That's why I've kept that for the end. All right, so we can really race through thermodynamics and just do questions over there because theory is going to be exactly the same. KTG also has a lot in common with what you have done in chemistry. A lot of the formulas over here you probably have already seen in chemistry. Most probably you've seen them in gaseous state. All right, so should not be a big difference. All right. Yes, Kushal, that'll be enough. तन्मय यार उतना time नहीं है लाल. Let me just move on with this chapter. And what would we do after this section? Most probably after this section, we would do fluid mechanics. I'm not fully sure, but yeah, I think that's in my track. I won't take current. Again, not sure. Most probably, I think, from what I remember, current may be in the mechanics wala track. Let's see अभी आगे क्या हर साल change होते रहता है थोड़ा pace का. Let's see. Okay. First is, so yeah. So what are we going to do in this chapter is, the first thing we're going to have a look at is there are certain assumptions of KTG, okay? Kinetic theory of gases. There are certain assumptions that we're going to make. So these assumptions are important. Okay? So there are almost 6 assumptions of KTG. And let's just quickly have a look at those assumptions. Maybe you've already learned this in chem. Okay, again, so a lot of what we are doing here has probably been done in chemistry. So these are assumptions of KTG. Basically, some assumptions which we'll make. So we'll treat these guys as treat the gases as, oh, that's annoying, ideal gas. Okay, already done in gaseous state. Very nice. So then this will be like a breeze. The first and foremost thing is all gases are made up of molecules moving randomly in all directions. No surprise. Are made up of molecules moving randomly in all directions. Okay? Randomly is important. All directions is important. Okay? So all gases are made up of molecules moving randomly in all directions. So I want you to picturize a very symmetrical situation. Okay? So the entire situation is quite symmetrical. There's no bias. When I consider a gas inside a volume, there's no bias. There's no preference that the molecules want to move only towards the right of the vessel or only downwards. Okay? So we'll just assume that they want to move with equal probability in all directions. They are truly random in that sense. This next one is the size. Yes, intermolecular forces का भी एक point है. The second point is the size of a molecule is much smaller. The size of a molecule is much smaller than the average. So as I said, this chapter will be like a breeze for you guys because I mean the new stuff is done. Most of the new stuff is done. This is in a way just like a revision. Then the average separation between the molecules. So the size of a molecule is much smaller than the average separation between the molecules. Okay? The third one is the molecules exert no force. Molecules exert no force on each other. This is also an assumption. Intermolecular forces are negligible. Or on the walls of the vessel. Or on the walls of the vessel. Except during collision. Okay? Except during collision. So we're going to assume that intermolecular forces are negligible. Okay? Molecules continue to move along their path until they collide with another molecule. Those are some assumptions we'll make. This helps us simplify the energy aspect. We don't have to worry about potential energy. Right? Whenever there are attractive forces involved, there is a potential energy aspect. You've seen that with gravity. You'll also see that with charged particles later on when you study electrostatics. But over here, we don't have to worry about their potential energy because of intermolecular forces. We are assuming they're weak and negligible, which they in fact are in that sense. So energy ke hisab se we'll only think about the kinetic energy of the molecules. Yeah, so that simplifies things for us. They exert no force on the walls except during collision. So that also helps the pressure calculation aspect. Pressure क्यों होता है wall पे? Why does a gas exert pressure on the wall? Not because of any kind of intermolecular force, but the pressure is only coming from molecules going and physically colliding with the wall. Yeah, तो उसका भी एक series of calculation है, which also I think you might have seen. So we can calculate the pressure exerted on the wall as well. Let me just check the doubt. Volume, another way of saying statement 2 is volume present between the gas particles is negligible in comparison to the volume of the container. Statement 4, all collisions are purely elastic. All collisions are purely elastic. All collisions are purely elastic and are completed in negligible time. And are completed in negligible time. That's another assumption. All collisions are purely elastic with the wall, molecule with wall, your molecule with molecule. All those collisions are purely elastic and they're completed in negligible time. All right. So those electron clouds. So collision भी कैसा होता है? मतलब electron, when molecules come close to each other, the electron clouds start repelling each other, and एक point के बाद, the molecules start separating. So that kind of collision is literally like the collision between two blocks with a spring in between them. Blocks come close and kinetic energy decreases with potential energy of the spring increasing. But then the spring pushes back out, goes back towards natural length, and all of that potential energy again gets converted to kinetic energy. All right, so kinetic energy is conserved in your elastic collisions, and collisions between molecules of a gas behaves in that manner. Okay, between those electron clouds behaves in that manner. There is no loss in energy. So 4 is a very reasonable assumption. Then molecules obey Newton's laws of motion. Another very fair assumption. No one is moving at the speed of light. So molecules obey Newton's laws of motion. Finally, when a gas is left, sixth postulate, when a gas is left for sufficient time, okay, it reaches a steady state. So once the entire process of diffusion and mixing and all is over, it reaches a steady state. Full stop. Okay. And after this, the density and distribution, after this, the density and distribution of molecules with different velocities, density and distribution of molecules with different velocities is independent of position, okay, is independent of position, direction, and time. What does that last statement mean? So basically it's saying कि एक time के बाद perfect symmetry होगा. That's what it's saying in very simple words. It's saying कि the density and distribution of molecules with different velocities. All right. So molecules having different velocities. All right. So velocity along X, velocity along Y, velocity along Z, large velocity, small velocity. इनका जो spread है, that's going to be symmetrical, that's going to be uniform across the entire volume. मतलब what the statement is trying to say is कि ऐसा नहीं होगा कि this section of the container will have more molecules going towards the left, that section of the container will have more molecules going upward. वो सब नहीं दिखेगा, है ना? On a probability basis, inside this section and inside that section, you'll have equal number of molecules going towards the left, equal number of molecules going towards the right. The distribution of molecules going towards the left is going to be uniform throughout the entire vessel. There's no one particular region जहाँ पे molecules ज़्यादा हैं left की तरफ जाने के लिए. Yeah, there's going to be a symmetric. Molecules are equally divided in the vessel, and even molecules going up are equally divided. Molecules going down are equally divided. Fast moving molecules are equally divided. Slow moving molecules are equally divided. That's the idea. And this division is independent of time. Even now, as time progresses, you will still assume they are uniformly, equally divided. Okay? So, which is quite a fair assumption on a probability note. Okay. So those are your assumptions of KTG. Simple stuff. Just remember the essence of what they are trying to say. One of you saying the second point can also be stated as elapsed time of a collision between particles and the container's wall is negligible compared to the time between successive collisions. Fair enough. And because the molecules occupy such a small part of the vessel, it takes more time for molecules to collide amongst themselves than for molecules to take up time during collision. Okay? Because molecules occupy such a small part physically of the vessel, उनके collisions के आपस में ज़्यादा time लगेगा in comparison to collision के दौरान कितना time लगता है. Okay? Therefore, point 2 in a way explains point 3. So point 3, which says कि point 4. Point 4 said all collisions are purely elastic and are completed in negligible time. So that's negligible in comparison to the time taken between successive collisions. कोई पूछ रहा है पार्ट 3 में कौन सा कोलिजन हो रहा है? So what is part 3? Molecules exert no force on each other or on the walls of the vessels except during collision. तो वही during collision between themselves or on collision between the walls of the vessel, वो दो collision के दौरान तो of course they are exerting force. A molecule exerts force on the wall while colliding it. Molecules exert force on each other while they are colliding. That is what point 3 is saying. When they collide with each other and when they collide with the wall, they exert forces on each other. But when that is not happening, they exert no force on each other and they continue Newton's first law. They continue along their path undeflected till the collision takes place. They will continue along their path undeflected without any change in speed. Okay. And just to repeat, one of you said point 2 is in a way explaining point 4. Why? Because molecule का size इतना छोटा है कि they occupy such a tiny portion of the vessel कि उनका आपस में collision के लिए ज़्यादा time लगेगा in comparison to collision के दौरान कितना time लगेगा. Therefore, we say कि collisions take place in negligible time because it's the time that a collision takes is very small in comparison to the time it would take for two molecules to collide. Collide होने के लिए time ज़्यादा लगेगा, collision के दौरान time कम होगा, तो इसलिए comparatively उसको neglect. Right? So these are your 6 postulates of KTG. Yeah. Is everyone done writing? सब लोग बस बोल रहे हैं. I think you guys are very tired. Anyone still writing? ठीक है. Okay, चलो. Then हाँ, we'll continue in the next lecture. एक काम करते हैं. Next lecture we'll continue this. I'll give you a little bit more time to, I think, attempt the HCV. Attempt the HCV, do it well, refer to the video solutions because there are a lot of questions. So if you just give it a half-hearted attempt, we can very well be, and we can end up discussing over 30-35 questions in class. So that may take up the entire lecture, and even maybe the entire lecture may not be enough. So try to go through the video solutions wherever you're stuck, and then by next Tuesday, hopefully video solution देखने के बाद you probably won't have those many doubts. So after seeing the video solutions, if there still are doubts, we can discuss them on Tuesday. Okay? Let's wrap it up over here. And थोड़ा gaseous state थोड़ा revise करके आ जाओ, थोड़ा help होगा. Okay? Just brush up certain formulas that you've seen. Stuff that you've already seen, maybe we need not. Derivations you've already seen in chemistry, we probably need not derive again. So just go through your gaseous state notes once. Okay? Also, if somebody doesn't mind, if you can just share on your support group, agar possible hai to, if it's in a comfortable format already, just if you can share the notes sir may have taken for gaseous state. Is it in a good format? I mean, I don't want you guys to take photos of your notes, but agar hai already kuch PDF वगैरह, then you can just share on the group, so I can have a look at that. जो chemistry sir ने share किया होगा, then I need not repeat same stuff. Okay, so Ayush, then if you have the PDF, just share it on the doubt group. One of you saying gaseous state is a little weak. Will it make? No problem. Will it make KTG tough? I mean, of course, you'll have to work on your gaseous state. The nature of questions may not be exactly the same. Like we won't deal too much with different types of elements and all that, but the essence is going to be similar. So I would say do work on gaseous state. All right. So I mean, if you found that tough, you could find this tough. And in my opinion, you'd only find it tough if you haven't tried solving it, because in reality, it's not tough. In reality, I think gaseous state is one of the easier chapters in physical chemistry. So yeah, maybe now is a good time to do it if that's left behind as a backlog. वहाँ करोगे, वो करोगे, ये आसान पड़ेगा. Yes, you can leave. Completed gaseous state by watching recording. Achha, it wasn't taught to you live. Those who want to leave can leave. gaseous state live नहीं पढ़ाया गया था क्या? Oh, okay. ठीक है, मतलब कोई बात नहीं. जो भी मतलब डेरिवेशंस है, anyways, ये थोड़ा रिविजन जैसा होगा. ठीक है? So don't worry. If it's a little weak, hopefully after this you may find it easy. I'll just try to show how logical things are, and then the rest is just applying those few concepts and that bit of logic in questions. To some students, it was taught with. Rudra, I'm afraid I don't have the notes. Okay? So yeah, that may save a little time if I had the notes, but I think let's just try to go a little faster. All right, so bye. I mean, I have notes, but they are in my handwriting, so I don't know how much you guys will understand if I share that. They're not in the drive as such. They're not in this app as such. So, bye.